2-hour video of this. Okay, so I'm going to do demonstrations. Can you guys all see me in the camera? I'm orange, red, and yellow, correct? Everything around me should be blue and black. So I'm going to take me out of the picture. The trees up above me now should be orange, red, and yellow. It's going to fluctuate based on whatever's inside the screen. Okay, so if we start moving it too fast, it's going to pixelate. The camera technology is not our cell phones. I promise you that. It's the thermodynamic technology that we're actually after. So, where do I want to go with this guy? You guys are all just staring. So here's what I normally do. I normally wait for my chatterbox. I wait for the person that's like eyeballing a specific thing. Somebody that's actually been... What's that? I have plenty of those. We're going to get into that. You're the quiet one. We're going to go here. So, it's already recording. The camera is right in front of your finger. Okay, so there's a red square on your screen. Take a look, make sure you know where that's at.
Yep.
If you hit it and it turns to a circle, I need to know, because that means I have to splice more than one video together.
Okay.
So that way it's a nice, seamless experience for you guys.
Gotcha.
Just hit it again and tell me, hey, Nick, I accidentally hit it.
Okay.
You're going to hold it out like that all night. It doesn't go in your pocket. It doesn't go to anything.
Okay.
That also gives us another point. We're also going to hear everything you say. So, Saturday nights I send it to the quiet one, as you guys can imagine. So, but with that being said, it's also another point of reference for your audio. So there might be times, I'm losing names already. Justin and I separate a little bit further apart. You will actually have 2 points of audio for EVPs. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. EVPs are electronic voice phenomenon. You interrupted me with that. So, thank you. But that's okay. We had stuff to cover anyway. So your audio that I'm recording is so that you can hear all the stories again and listen for EVPs, which are voices we can't hear with the naked ear. So all of the devices you guys are using tonight are all electronic for that exact reason. We don't use tarot cards, we don't use dowsing rods, Ouija boards, any of that stuff, because that is based on the user. This actually is going to record the data and give us actual proof. Captain Skeptic. EMF meters. This is probably the most common one y'all see on your TV shows. This is the K2 meter. This will measure 3 different types of electromagnetic fields. That's why they use it on TV. It's not separated. It's going to measure the first one, which is natural from the earth. That's why it's green. That's why it's not doing anything. It's natural. The second one is going to be for man-made objects. It's going to be wiring, your cell phones, anything electronic that's right on top of this guy. I mean, literally this close.
So we just go to the end of this road?
They're going to my because you guys booked out this one. That's why. So the third one is going to make this thing go crazy. Okay, so I'm looking for this thing to actually go nuts in a rhythm or pattern you can't explain. If you can't tap your foot to it and make music, that's when we probably have something else that's going to go on, or something else that's going to be happening during that time. It doesn't make any noise, nor does it vibrate. So you have to watch that guy all night long. That's all you got to do. We're going to convince you with one tool. The reason why I usually hand that to the skeptic is because I need them to actually see something in real time. That is our most active tool in real time. Spirit boxes. We're going to be using several. This first one, let me explain what a spirit box is first. Goes through all your FM radio stations very quickly. If you're watching ghost hunting television, listen to me. I know, right? You do this twice a night, you start to lose a few words. So, it's not scripted, but it's the same stuff. At any rate, if you're watching your television shows, they have it set so fast that only disembodied voices can come through. We don't do that here because you guys aren't used to listening to this. I actually have it slowed down, so the radio chatter will come through. We want the radio chatter. I want to know what those DJs say, what the song lyrics say, commercials, and disembodied voices. Some of it could be a message based on what's actually happening around us. This is a great way of communicating with the dead. It happens often. I'm going to teach you guys. Let me stop there for a second. So our first stop, I know, right? Our first stop we're going to go to is an in-detail teach and train session where you guys are all going to be using your devices. I'm going to bounce around all of you to make sure everybody has their questions answered individually. It's a haunted location, but it doesn't have a deep history where we're going to spend 10 minutes telling a story. Does that make sense? All right, so I'm going to turn this up so everybody kind of gets a gist of what it sounds like. If I hear something, two of you. This way you guys can actually verify what you're hearing. It has one button that you guys need to pay attention to and make things nice and simple. It's a turn wheel right here at the top. Now, that's it. You control the volume. So even when it's on mute, guys, it's still recording that sweep. It is not recording anything but that sweep. So we're not going to hear any of us. That's what these two pieces of audio are for. So you guys can say as much dirty stuff as you want to each other. We don't care. We're not going to hear it anyway. So, again, I'll do a spirit boxes up when I'm kind of like done talking. As you can notice, I don't have a very projected voice. So, again, I don't like to scream over spirit boxes. Where's the other one? While we're on that same subject. This is, my wife is actually sewing a bunch of Ghostbuster and Pac-Man ghost patches on my other bag. So, I had to grab another one, and I'm trying to remember where the hell I put everything. There's a speaker in here, I promise. This one actually does require an outside speaker. This is the one you guys see on your normal TV shows, the SB7. We like this device, but it doesn't record anything.
So it should go to improve. It's not a recording device.
So I find that speaker will be good. I know I brought it. Oh, new bag. I tell you.
How about?
Problem is this one has too many pockets. Okay, now we're set. Okay, so guys, same principle. See if you need to verify what you're actually hearing. One button you need to pay attention to is the one here in the center. Press it on and off. That's it. If I say it's too loud for some ponies around us, say, just cup it. Okay? That kind of thing. So you guys have to verify each other to stop recording. So we're gonna have to take a break. You watch enough Zach Bagans, you can make up enough stuff, right? All right. Alright, so I want to debunk a few things. I'm not here to make anything up for anybody. Okay? They might, because they watch Zach Bagans. We want to actually verify what's actually going on with that camera. Okay? The camera is only seeing temperature. And then he says, Justin was it?
Yep.
Hey, I got one right. Good job. So Justin's standing right him and he says, Nick, there's a blue spot right there on that wall. And I don't know what's going on with it. I'm going to debunk it first. We all know what one of these is, right? This is surface temperature only. So right now, I have no idea what the air is in between the gun and the red dot. So I'm going to measure the whole wall to make sure it's the same temperature. When it is the same temperature, I now know that the blue area that Justin is seeing is between him and the wall. So that's where this ambient temperature comes into play. So literally the probe at the end of this is going to measure humidity and temperature. The bottom number is going to be temperature. And we're literally going to try to find where that blue spot is to verify that it's an actual cold spot, especially if it's within 5 to 10 degrees drop in a regular air temperature. So these are actually going to go off to you. So the two of you are going to be piled up together. The yellow one's not super active. It's all about that blue one. And again, we'll go through a little bit more direction as we go through.
Stupid. How about 100 degrees, Ryan? You feeling okay?
Screaming. So I'm putting together the neuralizer for Men in Black. You guys all need to stare right here. Only 3 of you did it. Good job. This is actually a grid pen. Right?
Oh, that's cool.
It's actually supposed to spin. But anyway, it's actually quite a few dots anyway. So what does this guy do? It actually helps us see things that we can't see with the naked eye. So these are lasers. Abstract. What's that?
Same thing for next one.
Kind of. Well, they use, we have another one.
Beefed up version.
Right, exactly. So this one, again, we're looking for, I can actually see a few raindrops kind of speckling through. Do you guys see those? Kind of speckling through a little bit? You guys need me to do a better demonstration than what's actually there? Watch up here. Kind of make a difference now. Now again, Spirit's not going to hang out in there that long. Okay, it's literally going to be a quick little blip that comes out. So, yeah, you gave me the goes to you. Okay, lasers, hang on. You're going to get us both arrested. So, lasers are pointed down, straight down, and then you go out about 5 feet from you. Sorry, I didn't mean to jump on you like that. It was kind of like, oh, hang on. It's seriously an arrest of charge here. Straight down. We have another one. As soon as this card passes, this one gives us red squares. So why do I use red squares and the green dots? We actually capture something here. Those squares I can put in 3D software, and then we can actually put in 3D software. Help you out with something?
Is this a ghost tour?
It's a ghost hunting tour. Your other ghost tour is going to be down the street.
Okay.
So with us here, we're using devices, and I need to be able to actually give you a full 3D apparition of something we actually captured. This is relatively new to my tour. I haven't caught anything with it yet. Again, being honest with you guys, hopefully we capture something tonight. Both go to you. Don't blind anybody. Yes. There'll be lots of direction with lasers, as everybody can imagine. Last but not least, I need some pictures. So the pictures, there's a couple of rules.
I don't ever. Oh, you'll be fine. I don't even have any social media.
It's okay, because nobody along the wall can be in the pictures anyway. That's the rule. None of you sign waivers to be in pictures for whatever reason. So if you are in a picture and there's evidence in it, I just cut that person out. It is a simple point and shoot. There is no flash on this camera. So you are literally going to be taking a lot of pictures about the lasers and then maybe some touristy type spots. I will give a lot of direction with this as well. Okay. I'm going to use a couple of devices myself. So I have to be part of the tour as well, right? I do have a backup EMF meter in case Captain Skeptics goes dead from battery drainage, which does happen. I use two different types of spirit boxes. The first one's actually going to give us a list of words one at a time right there in the center of the screen. Okay, this one will actually save everything into a list for us. The last tour actually had 66 words. It's about average 50 to 60 for a 90-minute tour. Okay, here's what I'm going to tell you guys about the apps. This one, 80% of it's bullshit. I'm not even going to lie.
What? 80%
is bullshit.
Oh, okay.
Complete bullshit. It's the other 20% that's an answer to one of our questions that is relative to the place that we are, names of people that live where we're going, any of those kind of things. I'm only going to highlight the words for you that are verifiable, meaning I'm going to give you links to verify what I'm telling you. Okay? That's kind of, you're going to get the whole list. So something might be relatable to one of you guys. For example, somebody texted me last week and said, hey, my cat's name is Radar, and both of those words showed up back to back on your list. I said, okay, I'll take it, but I'm not going to put it on everybody else's data. It didn't mean anything at the time. If you would have told us then, we would have maybe done something about it. I got the word independence already, just so everybody knows. The second one I'm going to use is a reverse spirit box. So a reverse spirit box, I debunked this one as well. They claim that it was an FM radio station being flipped backwards, but I'm like, that's almost impossible. You can't take FM live signals and flip them backwards. Not to mention I didn't hear any music, so I have enough software to analyze EVPs, so I put it into software and I flipped it forwards. And all it is, literally, is a man and a woman saying words backwards. That's all it is, right? Hang on, there's more to it. When we actually hear something, I'm going to play you what it's going to sound like in real time, but I will play an EVP that I caught for you guys a few weeks ago that is mind-blowing, and it is going to make a lot of sense of why I still use it, even though I debunked it. So it's going to sound like complete gibberish. So when you do hear something, it's in forward motion. Right? Sounds like complete garbage. Doesn't make any sense at all. So when I get something as clear as what I got, and I didn't know what it meant at the time, then it makes complete sense why I heard it. So I'm going to play this for you guys a little bit at a time. Baked beans breakfast. that. You want me to play the game? Sorry, traffic is killing us right now. Baked beans breakfast. Okay, so here's what happened. I was talking about a woman from England, and I'll tell you guys where this actually happened. I heard baked beans breakfast, and of course that makes no sense to me whatsoever. A woman on my tour told me, well, that's a thing over in the UK. I'm like, well, that makes sense because we're talking about somebody who was from the UK back in the 1700s. Your spirit box told me, I'll fix you baked beans breakfast, and then the digital spirit box list gave me the word tea. That was all within 2.5 minutes of each other. I'll fix you baked beans breakfast and tea. Do you see how I have to put all this together as a collective the next morning? Again, this happens in real time, but I have to actually take a look to see what it's doing for you the next morning. So.
Did you get that breakfast?
What's that? Did I get it? No, she never did cook us one. So, we start here for a reason, guys. This place you're leaning on is haunted. How cool is that, right? So this place used to be called Big John's back in the 70s. And Big John was a football player for the 1947 New York Giants. I don't like sports, so I had to memorize all this stuff. Let's cut that off until I'm done. So, again, I don't like extreme and shout. So, John used to sit in the back of the bar, and he would nod off to the bartender if the cadets that came over from the Citadel were of age or not. And when those two guys come over, they're not of age, John tells the bartender to cut them off, they get mad, they leave. They come back the next night and they take the cash register from the front of the bar. Big John pulls out his gun, shoots, kills, bullet ricochets, lands in the wall. It's not the ghost of the guy he killed that haunts the place. It's the bullet. It's the one holding all the paranormal activity. It said people that sit in the front of this bar could experience, notice I said could, dizzy, headache, queasiness, those kind of things. Bring this up on purpose because I don't know how paranormal activity is going to affect any of you. I know how it's going to affect me. The first time somebody passed out on a nice cool night like this, I was in CPR class the next day. It's happened several more times after that. Again, if somebody's not feeling well, speak up for the person that's not feeling well because they're going to say they're okay and they need to keep going. It's a big deal to me. Again, it can be a little much for some people. Witches and people that are psychics and mediums, they normally don't do well on this tour. It's a little too much. So, yeah. So, it's not something I'm proud of, and I don't say that stuff to scare you. It's a precaution, a true one. So, the other story here, let's move on to something happier. Earthquake. That's happier, right?
Earthquake.
1886, we've only had one. It's the only one we ever talk about. Probably, if you've been on a history tour, you've probably already heard about it. But this is where the first death occurred. A piece of the mantling that's above your heads actually broke off the front of the building, hit somebody in the head, and their ghost is said to be seen right here on East Bay Street. I don't have any valid proof of that, but the previous owner of this bar, when it was Cane Rum Bar, is the one who actually seen those couple of shadows out there on the middle of the road after the bar closed. So, you guys ready to go grow something? You guys tired of hearing me talk? I hope not, because we got another hour to this. All right, let's go this way.
Stupid. Blow it in the infrared. What? Blow it in the infrared. I don't want to do that. What kind of graffiti is that? Bizarre.
Like Colorado? The bike people?
What?
For the bike people, Colorado?
Probably.
Alright, so a couple things here. Again, this is your practice area. So I'm going to bounce around with all of you to kind of give you a gist of what's going on with the bike. First and foremost, there is a cafe right over there on the corner called the Crew Cafe. We do have some suicidal hunters that occurred in there. I don't know where they're getting their data from. I couldn't find anything. They did ask me to do a full investigation. I did get a little bit of an EMF upstairs. I could probably debunk it if I had stayed in there long enough. But again, I don't know what's going on because it used to be a slave home. So slave homes did not have addresses, can't find titles and deeds. So that kind of gives you a gist of how I go about what I do. For you history buffs, right past the Food Cafe, there's a stop sign in the old neighborhood. Everybody picture the police club Charleston in your head right now? It was much skinnier back in the 1700s, right? So Revolutionary War ship rolls up, shoots a cannon, cannonball lands right at the stop sign. no deaths, no tragedies, no paranormal activity, just one of those little nuggets of history that I found. And I'm like, I'm going to add that onto the tour. So there's something for everybody here at Stories in a Cemetery. So where are we now? We are at the Red Barn lot. Okay, so we are at the barn. They keep the horses for your carriage rides inside that barn. Okay, the horses are inside. Those of you with lasers, absolutely nothing on that building, including the infrared laser, because it's a monster. Absolutely nothing. We'll spook them to try to remain peaceful with these folks. So that's kind of what's going on with the lasers. This is also the same Red Barn that they kept horses that delivered milk to Charleston. So that dates it for you a little bit. 1860s, 1920s, in between that time period maybe. That's really all I got. So what comes up here? A lot of Big John's teammates will come through. I get stable kids. I get random names that come up. I'm actually looking into another very recent death in one of these buildings nearby. I don't want to speak about it yet, but I think I already have something from that investigation. I'm just waiting for it to collect so I can actually do the full deal. It is a pretty sensitive nature and it's recent. So that person's family's still alive. I don't want to disrespect anybody's family, but I am getting some things already. So here's what we're going to do around town here. Your spirit box can be a little loud for the ponies. So you're going to stay on the eastern side of the lot, and we're going to talk about spirit boxes in a second. Oh, you guys are actually kind of somewhat grouped together, so let's talk about
Go get his cane, actually.
Okay, that's fine.
This is right over here.
Yeah, you're good. We're going to be here for about 5 to 8 minutes. Don't run, you need a cane, remember?
Right?
So, spirit boxes. On your television shows, they just start asking random questions. Tell us why you did this. Who's here? That kind of crazy mess, right? It's not how it actually goes. I'm starting you guys off simple, okay? Start with questions you know that are non-yes or no questions. What color is the barn? Okay? If you don't get an answer after 30 seconds or so, ask it again. You're going to do that 2, 3, maybe 4 times, and if you don't have an answer, it's okay to say, let's move on to another question. What's inside the barn? I'm giving you an example. Come up with whatever question you want. Here's why I stay away from yes or no questions. The S and the O in yes and no are too easily depictable as if you say somebody here and they say houses, she thinks she heard yes. You see where I'm going with that? I'm staying away from that mess. We don't do that. We want concrete evidence. That's what we're actually after. So with your spirit box, the one that records, you're pretty much free to roam wherever you want to in the parking lot. I just ask the two of you kind of stay out of earshot.
Yeah.
We want nice slow sweeps out of you. We have a bunch of different types of material in here. We have metal, asphalt, wood, brick, foliage, all kinds of mess. So get used to how that camera works. We'll see if something pops up, and I'm going to definitely work with you more on that.
Okay.
As far as your lasers go, down, and you're going to be really like out in front of you. Don't cross the streams. You got, I heard a chuckle. Some of you got my Ghostbuster joke. You want to cross those streams. Just kind of keep them side by side, straight down. Those devices are meant to be set up in a room with a camera, set still, left alone. So the more still you are, the better. We're not really items, we're not anything like that. We are in a parking lot. Please be mindful. Don't become ghosts on my tour.
Right?
That's the goal, right? All right. You are obviously going to be calling around with Justin, helping him verify with your infrared gun the temperatures of different types of material. So the two of you are kind of camera? Yes. So you're going to be palling around. Oh my God, I'm horrible with names.
Oh, Courtney, her?
Courtney and
Her.
Dana? I thought I had Dana. I didn't do it wrong. All right, so the two B's. Okay. And then, of course, is your EMF on anything? Nothing at all? Okay. So you guys are really going to be watching Captain Skeptic and seeing where his spikes are going to show up, and we're going to try to debunk what's actually happening. You're walking on top of a sewer line. There's nothing literally. Go ahead and hold that thing straight out like this for me. We're going to touch devices.
Yeah,
Just
I did that with my phone.
So just to kind of give everybody the gist of how that's going to work, it's going to give off a little bit of a peak at times. So I'm going to be bouncing around with all of you. Let's get you guys used to your devices. We'll try to make this as quick as possible unless you guys have a ton of questions, so that way we can actually learn some history. How's that sound? All right, so the two of you stay on this side. The two of you go ahead up that way. Start asking some questions, see what we capture. Really, the three of you need to be hanging out. And then the two of you, nice slow sweep. So let's get started with you. Let me mask up for you. Sorry, some people get weirded out by them. Totally fine. I used to not be able to wear one of these at all. Like I had to work my way up to it. It would
The
make me.
looks you get in the stores,
And everything
Oh,
else
no.
must have been horrible.
Well, again, I wouldn't go anywhere.
Oh, you just
Oh,
wouldn't
you
go
just,
anywhere.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
probably the easiest way of dealing with
Yeah,
it.
it was bad. So, nice slow sweeps on this. The cell phone technology is not there in the camera.
Right.
Okay, it's not an iPhone or anything recent as
Okay.
far as the camera goes.
Gotcha.
It's really about this thing does not see in 3D. It's going to use white lines to try to help you find 3D motion. So,
Okay.
for example, if you were to actually point it this way, there should be an outline around them two over there,
Yep.
the poles, a light. You see the little light?
Yeah, up on the left, yeah.
Right, it's going to put a little white outline around it. So
Okay.
if I stand in front of this and there's a blue spot that goes across my face, it should have a white outline in front of it.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so really what you guys are looking for is those different heat signatures.
Right.
So if you can also see thermodynamics in reverse. So let me explain that for a second.
Okay.
So what that means is that temperature can't be created or destroyed.
Right.
It has to balance. So if you see something right here start to grow in heat, goes up in temperature by 10, 12 degrees in a very short amount of time, I'm talking seconds, that means there's a cold spot growing somewhere else because it has to balance.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
All right.
so stay focused on what you have because you have no idea where that cold spot is.
Right.
That's
Okay.
still enough evidence to say if this is growing up by 10 to 12 degrees, there's a cold spot growing as well.
Somewhere else. Okay.
So again, you guys are going to basically make a few laps around here until
Okay.
I make sure everybody's kind of intact with what's going on with their devices, and then we'll move on.
Okay. Cool.
So
All right.
get us some good footage. All right.
It's weird how it goes from blue then to red like that because of the. Because 84 would be the highest temperature right now.
No, it's not.
Yeah. Except for that car window, yeah, it's like 80. What's that down there? Oh, those lights down there on the right. I see a lot of the white outline. Bless you. Stupid. It's a big. Oh, I think they're down there. That's why.
See anything?
Not yet. You seen anything?
Smell something.
It's probably a horse pee.
Inside the barn.
I'm waiting to see like a really sharp drop or something.
Nothing over there.
Car. That car must have been there a long time. It's cold.
There's cold spots yet?
Yeah, nothing crazy. Everything's pretty much within like 5 or 6 degrees. Huh?
Go ahead. What the fuck? Don't just be-
Right?
You can ask the questions of your weird radio.
I'm glad I didn't have that job. I don't really know what I would begin to ask.
How fast is that? I'll take my temperature one. I'll just go wait for you and zap it.
Yep, pretty much. Yeah, I'm trying to see if anything drops like 10 degrees or more, maybe. I don't know.
Ground is 80.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much around 80, nothing less than 79 I've seen so far.
Pretty warm.
The ground, yeah.
Gotta make it harder, the whole thing is red.
Well, it's odd when, like, sometimes it'll all be blue, like if you're standing there. So at that point, you're the hottest thing.
Right, yeah,
You know?
and everything around it.
You know. A little bit cooler, 78 right by that car there. On the car, essentially 78. Right in there. Oh, I messed up my whole thing. Walked right into it. Threw it off. What? Nothing yet?
Nah, nothing consistent enough to like say, oh yeah, that's something. I'm trying to get it on my phone.
It does it like periodically. It spikes on your phone.
Periodically, that's what I'm saying. It's not consistent enough to trust.
But I guess if you don't have anything by it and does nothing, well, then that's how you know that's the consistency.
Maybe.
So you take your phone away from it and it's not going to do anything.
It's still gonna do it though, see?
Yeah, well, we're starting to do it over there without your
I
phone.
wonder if it's like, is it residual from the phone maybe, like in the air?
He said it has to be touching it.
Well, I guess what you're seeing then would be
Alright.
something that, I don't know.
You would think that if it was really electromagnetic, that it would be consistent. You can consistently make it happen, but
Alright, you're gonna take a picture. Just in case.
How's your name?
keep it alone.
Not much. Everything's kind of like within like 83, 78. Yeah.
See? Test it. I love it.
Cool.
It definitely is.
How much was this thing?
The attachment runs about $200.
Wow.
And that's actually a tool used by plumbers and electricians.
I think it's on the Home Depot and stuff.
Mechanics, like if you need to find leaks, like that's your tool. I wanted the legitimate thing. I tried a bunch of different versions of apps and BS, and I was like, yeah, none of this is gonna fly. Like none of it works.
Or fart. We're gonna
Yeah, see the air.
I said fart. You said fart.
No. Them stupid videos. Everybody wants to try that. All right, does everybody kind of have a gist of how your devices work? All right, let's get everybody grouped together. Reggie.
I'll get in the car, guys.
Yeah.
How about we all fart at once?
Yeah.
I'm a believer now.
All laser.
Ryan, must be walking with me. Walking away from me.
They will have to take care of our fart. We're still behind us. You get the contrast. Yeah.
Stupid.
He likes contrast.
crazy how much cooler cars are compared to the surrounding. Oh yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Picking up anything?
Level, yeah.
What if you're self-unblocking it, Dakota?
I'm just seeing if it's consistent.
Utilize your ghost busting skills properly.
Where are you going? I don't know what it's
Yeah, Bill Murray disappointed you.
Yeah, Bill Murray would not be happy with you right
Alright, so you guys want to take you to pretty places. So, there's only one way in and out of here, which is that drive we just came through, so let's kind of move you. There's a couple other spaces we can think what's like. So, welcome to the Charles and Eliza Pinckney Mansion. So, their mansion would have been in the front, the garden would have been lined up with that tree, and where we're standing would have been where the slave homes were. So, who the heck were Charles and Eliza Pinckney? They had a son named Charles, so there's the second one, and then they had a nephew named Charles. There's 3 Charleses. The nephew and the son were signers of our Constitution. The son was obviously raised here. Pretty big deal for Charleston. Skeptic, what do you got going on over there? I see a bunch of red flashy.
A little red flashing.
Flashy? Okay.
Tina,
Yes.
picture me.
So, a lot of other things have occurred at this lot as well. If I were to have a grand finale, guys, would probably be it. But this is a lot of fun. This is a lot of stuff going on in here. I like to talk about Eliza here. Eliza married Charles.
Almost like
At a
you know
very
what's
young
gonna
age.
happen.
Eliza married Charles? Okay.
And you said, whoa, and I was like, what's going on? What did I miss? Sorry,
In
squirrel.
my head, I was just thinking in my head. I'm like,
Eliza
okay.
married Charles at a young age so she could stay here in the United States. She was from England, baked bean breakfast. This is where this all occurred at. And Dad thought he was dying over in England. He wanted all of his kids home. She didn't want to go, so she got married and became a U.S. citizen and stayed put. Dad got better, right, where Eliza thought he would, and he started sending her gifts over from England. One of those gifts happened to be the gift of indigo. So you guys have been driving around town. You guys know that indigo is a thing down here in Charleston. Love how he's just all over. It's great.
That's a skeptic?
Yeah.
Finding one.
Alright, he has one. Picture me. He's a believer now.
Not yet, he ain't. He will be after we leave here.
Oh, hold on, I didn't get a
Oh yeah.
This is
wonder if-
probably one of my most active places, but again, I can't predict which lot's going to be the most active. So anyway, let's get back to Eliza. I know he's playing with it and figuring it out. It's okay. I want him to do that. That's why I gave it to him.
Aw.
So I lost my train of thought. Indigo. Okay, so indigo became a huge cash crop for Charleston. It started right where you're standing. What the heck is indigo? It is a plant that makes blue dye that makes your blue jeans blue. We still use it today. Okay, it's a pretty big deal. So they actually had to move it into a farm over in Mount Pleasant because it was a huge cash crop for us after our rice plantations went downhill. So Eliza has done a lot of stuff for Charleston, but this was one of the majors. Now, indigo also had a big, deep, rich culture with us here in Charleston, but it was with the Gullah culture. And we're talking, late 1600s. So what did Eliza do? She's the one that made it profitable. Let's put it that way. She was the businesswoman that sold it overseas. Okay? So, a couple things about Eliza we can ask what our spirit box is, and then I'll go over the direction for everybody in here. Eliza was the second wife named Eliza from Charles. Way to go, Chuck. You screwed that one up. She goes by her maiden name, as does the first Eliza. And her maiden name has been coming up a little bit more and more lately as well. So try to find out what the maiden name was of the Eliza I'm speaking of, the second Eliza. They had 4 kids. You already know one of them was named Charles, but only one of those 4 kids was a daughter. So try to find out what the daughter's name is. Find out what happened to the mansion. Again, that's a pretty big deal too. You can ask Eliza anything you want to about her death. How she died, where she died, age, whatever.
Eliza
Doesn't
1
matter.
or 2?
Second. I don't know much about the first one, but if you ask about the first one, we'll verify it. You get answers. I'm only giving you questions I've actually had answers for. So she's pretty open about a lot of things. I'm going to be doing things on my own spirit boxes away from these 2 sets of spirit boxes, so that way we don't cross the streams. Lasers. We're going to keep all lasers below the walls. Some vehicles can be sensitive to strong green, red lasers. Well, your red square ones, maybe not so much, but the green one for sure. And where's the thermometer one? So yours a little sensitive to yours as well. But again, different temperatures definitely same type of mentality that you had over at Red Barn Lot with the camera. Nice slow sweeps. You're going to see mud, gravel, a little bit of wetness because we've had some rain today. So you're going to see a lot of different temperatures.
Okay.
Lots of pictures of those green dots. Be very wary of these vehicles. Some people get weirded out with cameras near their cars. I've been screamed at plenty of times, as I'm sure you guys can imagine. I got a bunch of tools out here, and I'm the one getting screamed at. EMF. Everybody kind of see that little pulsing light on the back of the 5 Church Street restaurant?
Yeah.
It's not always pulsing like that. Sometimes it looks like a strobe light, sometimes it goes fast, sometimes it's just on. It's usually in sync with our Skeptics EMF meter. Usually if you videotape it, it's within 2 frames behind it, because whatever's pulsing out of here is affecting that particular light. And again, it doesn't happen always. If you notice, I just noticed it, like, oh look, it's pulsing tonight. So again, one of those weird little tricks that I'm not making it up, it is what it is. Sometimes it lights on all the way. It just stays on like the light there to the left. I think it's just a weaker light that's being influenced by the EMF from this location. So I want you to kind of really get to know this place with the EMF and see where our strongest points are. I don't think anybody needs to follow you because you're going to have orange and red pretty much throughout this whole lot by the guess of what you're getting now. Everybody kind of have a gist of what they're asking and going through. So I'm going to watch where these 2 groups go so I can go in an opposite direction. I may even just stay put based on where they go. Again, just be mindful of cars coming in and out. Let's see if we can capture it. Shine some lights right there.
All right, hold on.
You don't have to muffle it at all. You can listen openly here.
Idiot. What's wrong with you?
Find me something with laser.
I'll find something for you with a laser on it. Laser and laser. What's that? Oh, it's like 102 degrees right over there. Right there. 100, 103, 104.
Car?
Yeah.
The car just parked.
Oh, the car is parked?
Actually, the car's on.
That car's on, that red car?
Yeah. You can hear it, right?
Watch the camera, Nero. I think we're safe.
It's like, it's 100-something degrees right there.
How is that red car on right now?
You don't hear it?
Lights aren't even on.
Somebody moving. Somebody's in there.
Oh,
Am I supposed to
oh,
take
you're
a
right.
picture of it?
Okay. I'm just not used to old cars. Usually turn a car on, the lights are on. No. Probably not. Philly W had poor choice. I'm just getting tired. I can't believe that red car's on.
I don't think it's on anymore.
It's not on anymore?
Oh, maybe the guy that walked by got out of it, maybe not. No, yeah, it's on.
I wonder what they're thinking right now. Like, what in the world's going on? Who are all these people?
A little hard with the drizzle. I'm seeing little specks coming through. And again, when it comes through, this is what I saw maybe a week or two ago. It was literally looked just like that. It looked just like the tip of my finger. It just came right real close and went up. And it was gone. I had no explanation for it other than the possibility of a bug going right through it. But I've only caught something with this thing twice. Charles, tell us what month you were born in.
The ground is even 78 degrees. 79.
Yeah, it's about right. The ground, the 81 is what I'm getting with this.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I said the bottom. No, the top is 78.
It's like a little off. There's about a 5-degree difference between the wall and the car.
Let's see if we get the laser. We're seeing a lot of things moving over there, like out of like a corner of our eye.
Also, did the house burn down?
It did.
It said bring the fire.
Or bring the heat twice. Because we get asking.
You're the heat.
You're the
You're the heat.
I'm the heat. Why am I the heat?
Your camera will see it.
All I know is the thermometer.
That alleyway over there.
There's no way.
So here's what could happen. Let's try to debunk this for a minute. As a car passes by, it could be a taller SUV, leg is bouncing off of the concrete here and making a shadow.
No,
go
but
the opposite way.
it was person shaped.
Person shape.
Like
Yeah.
it looked like a head.
It looked like a head.
Just walking along right
Is there a
there.
hat by chance?
I couldn't tell.
One was wearing a hat,
A
yes.
little bit looked like a brim of a hat in the front.
What kind of a hat?
I'm thinking bowler, but I don't.
It wasn't like much. It was like just a little bit of a.
But that's like we were trying to think. Okay, it's not a car because it definitely was. Look at him.
Really need a lot of pictures. You don't have to like it in the picture.
Oh, you picked the wrong one.
Definitely don't have to like it in the picture. So I'm going to show you
And
a
this is
picture.
right where we got bring the heat twice.
So I keep, like all of the photos go up to Facebook. That way it doesn't eat up my website. When you actually capture something, my wife does all of the graphic design work and photography debunking for me because that's what she goes to school for. And then when we actually have something, we put it in what we call the evidence folder. I'm going to show you a picture, and that was actually caught here. It was on the opposite end. It was by accident.
Like
You can see that. That's why I'm rushing over. So this was caught here. You see the brim of that hat?
Yeah.
Yes. That, it was like not a big hat, but it was just.
But you could see it pass. I thought it looked like hair at first, like sticking out.
That's
but
why I
then-
asked about the hat.
That
But it
does
wasn't-
what
He said that.
And it wasn't just a hat.
And
too.
again,
It wasn't
I didn't
gold.
give him a suggestion that it was
He
this
did
type of hat.
go like this.
It could have been a baseball
this?
cap
Yeah.
for you guys knew.
That's kind of crazy.
So this was caught in this lot.
That part's pretty crazy because you didn't know, and he has a picture.
You
of it
just
already.
described that.
Wow.
And
You
the
saw
fact
it?
that, yeah, it was like a shadow that just moved right through here.
And literally
What's
before we-
funny is the
Because
person
both-
who had the
wow.
camera
But
didn't
he and
remember
I were
taking
like,
this picture.
You saw that, right? And then
So-
we looked around, and like, there's no way a person's shadow went right here.
Look at this. I was like, Dave, we need to go to that corner. That corner feels weird.
I have chills.
Oh, we might have heard. We asked.
Yeah,
What?
I'm feeling fine. I was getting a little bit of a headache earlier, but standing right here when it kept saying it said bring the heat twice.
So it said bring the heat because we're standing right where the house was, and the house burned down.
Oh. Was her daughter named May by any chance?
Yeah.
Okay.
We kept saying May.
You got a Mary.
Yeah.
And you got from England.
May was his
From
first
England?
name?
Said from England and then second yeah.
And
What was that?
yeah.
Hey Ryan.
And then there was
Ryan.
another one.
I don't know.
It was like
It's like
Yeah,
a 10-degree
what
difference
month did it
right
bring down?
there.
Because it was all around the time we
91.
were asking what happened to the house.
Then
Let's
right
find
next
out.
to it,
Y'all
like
hold
80.
computers.
Where is it? Where are you
Why don't we
going
do this?
Like by that car there.
I know it was 1861.
See that?
I just don't know what month.
Can't see.
Past the car?
I think so. I don't know. I can't really
Yeah,
tell.
you're like across the street.
Am I across the street? You think so? I don't think so. Listen, that's the wall there. That's the tree.
One time we're pretty sure we heard waste your time.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
It's the engine from the car.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. The engine from the. Okay. Yep, that's what it is then. Okay. Oh, debunked. Yep.
Wasn't on that article. Fine, just the fire, because it was a big one here.
There's another car.
I was hoping somebody would hear October because I was asking Charles what month his birthday was.
There's this bike here.
It would have been in December. Okay, so it wasn't May. Okay, good catch though. I'm not going to discredit the shadows of the saw.
Yeah.
So, you can
That's why,
imagine.
because he was like, let's go see if we can get them with the lasers that came over here because we wanted to try it. It was weird.
You guys actually caught quite a bit too.
Yeah.
All right.
We had lots of conversations going on. I said, what is that thing? He's like this. I'm going, oh.
Be a little bit more sensitive to. There.
Well, that would probably be us.
So earlier today, when I texted everybody, she texted me back, asked if I minded if she brought her tarot cards. As I told you guys earlier, I do that stuff myself personally, but I don't bring it to you guys because there's no valid proof in it for you. With that being said, I'm guessing she's a little bit more sensitive to paranormal activity. I also got that when I was talking about those kind of illnesses earlier, and I did get the term more sensitive and then the word pair a few words later. So we're going to see what happens. I am going to move this out of this spot just to alleviate her headache, because this is a good spot for people to drop like noodles. So we're going to walk up about 4 blocks up to Lodge Alley. It's definitely a masked up area. I'll probably be vaping. I think I saw you vaping as well. That's your way out. Drinking, eating, whatever. We're going to be making a right if anybody gets too far behind. I'm not saying you will because you're in pain. I'm not doing any of that. But in case we do, we're making a right before Magnolia's restaurant. There's the camera again, Dana. We're going to kind of try to stay towards the front. We're going to get us some pictures. You can take pictures of anything you want to on the way, but I want them going into Lodge Alley at the temple. So for sure, because we definitely catch some weird orbs down there. Spirit boxes, go ahead and listen for your, listen along the way and see if we get any names. I'm listening for names along the way. Definitely a no laser zone on East Bay Street, and you might as well just put that in your pocket because you're going to be playing with the. Well, you can test the parking meters. There you go. You like to test stuff. Let's do that. All right, let's go this way.
Keep your toy out. Keep playing with your thing.
Keep playing with your thing. Keep playing with your dinghy.
We want him to play with his thing either. Don't tell him to stop. Get some tracking.
Charles Monteith. Monteith.
Oh, Gina's supposed to be in the front. Here's the alleyway. Go ahead to the front. The alleyway, you gotta.
Hey, dude, you gotta be in the front. No, you gotta do as you're told. That's your job.
It's a lot of activity at a lot of time, like in a short period of time. That's kind of why I moved this along so quick.
If that means anything.
I mean, Magnolia's all
Not
over.
yet.
I'm going to discredit that.
Well, we were turning right at Magnolia Street.
Right now it is. It is opened up again though.
Yeah.
Like you can go inside and stuff again.
All right.
Yeah.
The most annoying group in Charleston, just so you guys know, it's awesome. I love it.
The hand not coordinated with the light.
It's very weird.
Did you see that?
I'm drinking a drink for you.
That's what it's, yeah, it's wrong.
Eliza fixed it for us.
Thanks, Liza.
She's like, you may go. I did.
What?
I love that.
Yeah, they're remodeling it.
I think we're
No, that's been there. I know, like Max from Always Sunny. The IHOP. Yeah, I don't know why they built that there. Let's just put an IHOP in downtown Charleston, so that makes sense. I'm surprised Charleston didn't allow that. They're like super opposed to franchises and stuff down here. Oh, they have a TV on the outside. Cool. Alright. I don't know, it's like probably every other restaurant like this is horrible.
Thermal image for my big hand.
Yeah. You're not supposed to ask us to know.
Let's get away from that door. The security boxes for here. Of course, now he wants to tell me. Sure. So, I usually ask Charles Pinckney, because he was a big politician, right? What political party he belonged to. Jeffersonian Republican Party, where he first got started, and it just came up. You guys missed it, but it was the word just before Klein. So, again, I didn't get a chance to ask it. It was kind of like, all right, maybe he's preempting my questions. I know. Any names that you guys heard along the way?
The only name we heard was Magnolia.
Magnolia? What about you guys? Hear anything? So here's why I kind of rushed us out of there. We all kind of stormed that corner. There's 10 of us.
Yeah.
It's usually going to probably stop right away anyway after what you guys had already heard. And the fact that I was getting a little bit more clues to my group kind of proves when we rush the corner, it's going to stop. Like, we're not going to see much. I don't remember what the EMF was doing up in that corner, and I should have stopped to see, but it probably would have slowed down quite a bit. That's why I also limit this to 10 people. Can you imagine 20 people roaming around that lot or standing along this wall? Like, the ghosts aren't going to hang out. They're just not going to chill for me. So, yeah, this is really cool. I love this alley. Not many tourists come down here. This is Lodge Alley. The building behind me is the Lodge Alley Inn. Big skeptic actually said, wow, what a cool alley they have. I'm like, that's a courtyard. I'm just going to rag on you all night, dude. You can beat me up later, it's fine. So, I'm a little guy, it won't be hard. So, what happens down here? I usually ask for names because this used to be a street. People used to live here. These two buildings that we're looking at right here, they weren't here. So 1790 to 1890, this was little shotgun houses. You shoot a gun through the front and it would go out the back. That's how small they were. I have the list of residents and their occupations of everyone who's ever lived here. The names Benjamin and John usually show up together, whether from spirit boxes, audio format, I've heard it, on your end, and or my particular spirit box. Those two gentlemen lived here at the same time in 1801. Benjamin comes up a little bit more often, but about 50% of the time, John's name will accompany it shortly thereafter. The people that lived here were pretty much lower class. Again, the peninsula of Charleston was much skinnier. Your water's down there. Those buildings weren't there, so low tide, not a very pleasant place to live. Not to mention it would have been open. You know, it wouldn't have been as closed in, which this probably would be even worse if that building wasn't down there. But at the same token, these people were lower class. They did do an archaeological dig on these very slippery bricks. In between, they found some of their tools, their silverware, little pieces of their clothing, and they consider these people lower class based on that data there. It's also in the same report that I got the list of residents. So in case one of those names pops up, I give you the link to check it out for yourself. It was done by the Historical Society of Charleston. So, very cool document. It's about 80 pages long of what they found in here. A lot of really weird stuff pops up that I still have to kind of dive into. I look for names because that's easy to prove, right? So names are easy. The name Alex will also pop up from time to time. Alexander, his mom was real unique, right? He wanted to start a boarding house. Where can we duck and cover real quick?
I like it.
I know. I mean, I'm more worried about his camera. Anything else, you guys are doing a really good job of keeping everything protected. Your particular spirit box has an SD card in the top, so just kind of keep your hand cupped the way that it is forming. But at any rate, so the other thing about this alley is that it was also where the Masons used to meet before it was a neighborhood. So nice hot sticky nights, nice and humid down here, them guys would be down here in suits talking business. So just kind of a crazy alley. I have caught shadow figures here, verified with the thermal imaging camera and the digital camera. We get weird green orbs that show up in pictures in here all the time. It's always green and in different areas. So it's not like a reflection of a stoplight or anything like that. There's nothing nearby. I debunked it 1,000 different ways and can't find it. It's the green light will show up when it wants to. It's the craziest thing. My wife will say, like, she's come down here with me trying to help me find where the hell that green light's coming from. It's been on those grates up there, it's been on the wall up here, you know, just random spots. It will show up. We don't know where it's coming from, but it will show up from time to time. So, shit, I was really hoping the ring would have held out. And our next spot is wide open. We don't really have any kind of shelter to go to. Well, that's not good.
Well, which way is it?
We're headed that way. So, I know, and I had left my raincoat in the car going, I'll be fine. All right, let's start to head up.
Hoodie? I guess you're regretting that decision, aren't you?
Make sure everybody can see in the darker area.
I thought it was gonna hold out.
I thought so too. It was only like 12% chance.
Yeah.
According to your laser.
I didn't even put it on. My hand was
Watch out for your laser. Misha.
Misha.
Laser.
Laser, Blazer, and Misha.
Misha.
And what was the other reference to being
Oh, yeah.
in the rockets and rockets?
Yeah.
Like a crazy ass song. That movie is
It's the best.
amazing.
It's the best.
What was all the rest? I think I remember it. I was actually really surprised at how, pleasantly surprised at how good the Adam Sandler movie was out there. Really. He went back to his old, like the old ways of doing like with this weirdo voices. Yeah.
Ooh. Sounds creepy.
They said after when he got the award for that last movie, he was gonna try making.
It looks like around here is staying dry, so I'm going to have you guys line up over here. I'll get wet.
It's a pretty big yard for like downtown Charleston.
Yeah.
Very, very popular ghost or area.
Yeah, there's cemetery over there.
The cemetery's right there. So,
Where's the cemetery behind us?
behind us.
Oh,
No.
well, that's why I said right here. All right then.
We're going to go hang out where your grave is. You're walking through.
I did see a video the other day where it looked like a little kid was running around.
Yeah, most of those are pretty.
Up a tree and came down. It was in Savannah.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that one.
It looked really nice.
That one, I'll actually say, looks really, really good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
seen that.
I think it was all for any kind of thing, right?
And we went to that cemetery in Savannah, Encino, right?
Yeah, this is really
Yeah, we
popular.
went right to wherever that park was, yeah.
Alright, so let me tell you guys what's going on in here. Every ghost store loves to stop here, and they'd like to tell the big, this is their big dramatic finale. I'm going to give you the gist of this place in about 4 minutes, because we have tools and we're cooler than everybody else. So, right? That's the way we roll. So this is Philadelphia Alley. This used to be called Dueler's Alley. So like take 20 paces, turn and shoot kind of duels.
Remember that?
That's what happened here. So, this story actually takes place during that time. Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd moved down here from Rhode Island. We're going to let them cut through, right through the center. I want everybody to kind of keep in mind that the initials are I from Rhode Island, because it does show up again later and can show up in the spirit box. Hey, how are you? Pretty good. You're the one with the raincoats. We're jealous. So, he moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée Amanda. She just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents, and the attorney handling that money said, no, you're not getting married yet. Send the doctor away. Let's prove that he's not just after your money. So he comes down here to Charleston. He's going to start his new practice, and everything's going to go well. Amanda will move down soon, and all will be well. The coachman that brings him into town set him up to be robbed and killed. Not a very good start, right? So somebody walking by, the name Ralph Isaacs, initials R.I., just like Rhode Island, says, you don't want to stay here, let me take you somewhere else. Takes him over to 59 Church Street, where he knows there's a room for rent and the doctor can live. So the two become friends, and Ralph is just a regular Charlestonian. He's an attorney here in town. Attorneys want what we know of attorneys now, pretty well off financially, whatever. But they're friends. But the doctor's practice starts to take off. He's making lots of money. He becomes known as the Whistling Doctor. You can Google the Whistling Doctor, you'll get the very long, detailed story of this. So anyway, they used to go see plays together, but they couldn't sit next to each other because the doctor made way more money than them. They're in different parts of society. So it's like going to the movies with your friends, but you can't sit next to them because they make more money than you. So they used to talk about the plays on the way home. They go see Richard III. They're talking about the new actress in town. The doctor loves her, Ralph does not. It turns into an insult party on the doctor's fiance after a little bit of arguing. The two get pissed off at each other and they go their separate ways. Now, Ralph is tied to Charleston. He's from here. So he calls up the newspaper and he puts a big old ad in the paper about what a disgrace the doctor is to the city of Charleston. Like, what a jerk, right? So, the doctor rebuttals with, let's come down to Dueler's Alley and settle this. And normally the loser of a duel is white.
They die.
They die. They're dead. Somebody's not making it, right? The loser would normally go through that doorway that's behind you. The gate wasn't there. They would cut through that courtyard, make a left, go over to the cemetery, drop the body in a pre-dug grave, throw some dirt on them, and then go celebrate the winner with a pint. That's how it would normally go. But here's what happened with the doctor's deal. They come down, they take the 20 paces, they turn, the doctor points his gun in the air, and he shoots. He didn't want to kill his friend. And they make a point. The argument was stupid, he's willing to forgive and forget. But Ralph takes 2 shots below the knees. I'm not trying to kill you, you're just in front of me. You're just the person I'm looking at. So he drops. Not dead. So he doesn't go through the gate. His friends pick him up, they carry him home to 59 Church Street, and he dies there 10 days later. Now, moral of the story is, don't get engaged with somebody named Amanda. No. So, there's no Amandas in this group, right? Last night I said that joke and there was an Amanda and she got really mad. But anyway, they say as you walk through this alley, you can hear the whistle of the doctor. I have 2 that I can't debunk. We get a lot of hecklers here in Charleston. We're going to get up. They're going to give us that whistle. Now you have a fake one on your audio to listen for. This is where you crank it up on your drives home. I'm going to stay away from those spirit boxes. We're going to keep the spirit boxes up when we pick the other groups anyway, just to be respectful. They already don't like me. We won't go there. But at the same token, this is where you're going to be listening for those very faint whistles. They also say you can hear gunshots, but I have not caught any of that yet. So, don't know what's going to happen. As we walk through this alley, I also like to point out, this is a very cool feature that nobody talks about with the Death Gate. But the bricks we're standing on right now, these were actually replaced and repaired in the 1990s. So they're going to have harder edges to them, they're a lot closer together. They've been repaired. As we get to the edge, we're going to come across sun-dried bricks from slave kids. We have the fingerprints. No, that's not that misshapen. We're going to let this group come through.
I had it off and then
Better turn back off. I messed up the video. Sound off. Don't matter.
I can't.
stupid thing. Don't shake my face. No, he's too spooked.
So, actually, Dana, where are you at? Pictures. Now that it's empty, if you can grab a few of those for the group. Those bricks, I will point out, there's a full handprint
Go forward so you're not giving people.
in one of those bricks at the very
I'm
edge.
looking at the camera and there was no one in there.
Okay.
Wait, what?
So that handprint from the slave kids where they sun-dried the bricks, there's a full handprint in one of the bricks at the very end. I will point it out. If you guys want pictures of it, have your cameras ready because it is outside somebody's home. It will kind of scurry us along. So I know everybody's wet. I'm sorry I made it all miserable. Rush actually put its way back on track anyway.
I think that other one you were
You might have a different story than I do, but I got 3 or 4 stories right now.
Yeah, I set his thing off a lot.
Oh, yes, she is. You are warm. Especially compared to everyone else. What?
Because I'm really lit.
Oh,
His device, I touch it and it goes red. Every time.
you're a Wiccan?
You know I have supernatural powers.
Oh, yeah, of course I know that.
Super stupidity.
Power of idiocy.
Is this the talking about?
Where? Oh, oh wow. How do you not see it? Why? It's right there.
It's kind of like this long.
Yeah.
Messed up.
Huh. Yeah. Queen Street Playhouse. Oh, spooky.
Walmart special there.
How do you know that?
We got everybody though?
I think so.
Probably a really expensive front door.
Alright, I'm going to line you guys up around this edge. We're going to take a look at one last building. Sorry, that little restaurant actually put us right on target for time.
Alright.
So, I don't normally mind if things go over. I'm not that guy that's 90 minutes and I got to cut it off. I'm not, you guys are have fun, right? So, alright, let's put the spirit boxes so I can actually tell you guys what's going on with this building behind you. This is the Wagner building. This right now is condos in the back, and they're turning it into a wedding reception area in the front. So if anybody needs to get hitched and wants the curse wedding, by all means. Have at it. The place is haunted as hell. So, right? It used to be part of our cotton industry. It used to be a warehouse. So the back was a warehouse, the front was the offices. The last guy who had it as a cotton warehouse, his name was George Poirier. George inherited the business from his dad, no clue what he was doing, silver spoon kid, got himself into a bunch of debt and blew through his inheritance pretty quickly. So he's screwed. He needs to get out of the business. Then we get the boll weevil in town. What's the boll weevil? The bug that eats cotton. Yeah, he's really screwed now. So he can't even sell his cotton off to the American people that he has. He needs to sell it off to the British. So the British ship rolls up. Again, across the street from the Wagner building is the venue in Pineapple Park. So that would have been much closer where he can actually see that ship roll up. They unload all the cotton from these back really cool garage doors that you see by horse and buggy and load up the one. That guy just fell down my leg. That's not cool.
No.
I know, I'm dirty. I got cockroaches crawling right off of me. Happy Halloween, everybody.
Damn it.
Oh, he's coming for you, Courtney. Oh, no. God.
Okay, we're going to stop talking about bugs.
Oh, he's back.
Did you say there used to be a restaurant?
It used to be a brewery. I didn't say that. But this also was a brewery not so long ago.
Seriously, somebody kill
I've
it.
been in there.
Well, let me wrap up this story.
Ryan, I'm lucky there.
Well, we ought to just name this guy.
Making his rounds.
I'm gonna name it dead.
Let's go with George.
Yeah. I mean, why are you still playing around with him? Just
That's a lot of guts on the bottom of your sheet.
That's why I didn't do it.
Yeah.
When you
That's a
actually
big
kill one of, yeah, you kill one of them, you're going to have 20 more following us. So here's what happened. He's watching everything from the second story window as the ship gets loaded up. Then somebody gets too close to all that cotton with a pipe. whole ship catches fire and everybody dies. He watches the whole damn thing. He's already depressed because his dad's gone. He doesn't have enough money to sell or get rid of all of his dads here in America. And now his dad's legacy's gone. So what's he do? He piles up all the furniture, captain's chair on top, climbs it, swings a noose, and hangs himself.
Oh, shit.
Right? So it was the newspaper kid that caught him the next morning. He came down to the corner to sell his papes, seen the swinging body, went back to the newsroom to go tell them what was happening. They say you can see the shadow of a swinging corpse from time to time. Now we have video that can't see through windows. So what are we looking for? We're looking for one of those windows to actually get a little colder than the rest of them. So if one turn is darker blue, and this is in the front, and I'll get excited now. Oh. This is the back. So when we get up there, you're looking for, they're all going to be blue windows, right?
Okay.
You've been looking at buildings all night. You know that the windows usually show up blue next to the red building. If those windows turn a darker blue or black, we probably have something influencing it from the other side. It's changing its temperature. That's what I'm looking for.
Okay.
Now, I also get another ghost, well, you mentioned the brewery. This place was also a brewery, and we have many businesses in town that are no longer here because their building was too haunted. This was one of them. The brewery, I can't remember the name of it.
I don't. I was trying to Google it for a long time before we came here because I hadn't experienced that and I wanted him to go.
I think the address is 161 East State Street. So you can actually, I think that's the exact address. But the brewery, actually the taps would turn on by themselves. They would get really weird cold spots that were unexplainable without air conditioning blowing on the walls and things like that. And they just let them do too much. The furniture would move around, imagine that, like all kinds of things. So they just bolted out of town. I do get another ghost tacked along with this building. Where we came out of Philadelphia Alley, right where the handprint was, 2 blocks up is a place called Coogan's Porch. Some of you may have already eaten there.
What is it called?
Coogan's Porch. Okay, so Coogan's Porch is actually named after a dog. We're not looking for the dog, we're looking for the person who owned that building before it was a restaurant. Her name is Zoe. Okay, Zoe is spelled Z-O-E, not Z-O-E-Y. That's how I know it's her. Her last name is Saint Amand. So she is of French descent. Her descendants were actually part of our Huguenots that showed up here in Charleston long time ago. And she was a school teacher and lived there with her sister Elizabeth. So there's a bunch of keywords that you can actually catch out of her. Her name, obviously, teach. Elizabeth shows up from time to time, but I never know what I'm going to get when I'm looking at this building. So if it's George, it's going to be words like fire, ship, and cotton. If it's going to be Zoe, and you ask her, she'll tell you that her house right now, where she lived, is a restaurant, but she won't say restaurant. She'll say words like food, eat, table, spoon, fork. Very simple one-syllable words. So, very interesting place. Sometimes it's hit or miss. We never know what we're getting with this building. So, that's why it's a weird ending spot, but I tried to make this a circle. It's impossible. Too much ghosts going on around here. So we're going to definitely listen to our spirit boxes. Your EMF's going to go crazy at the front because of the parking meter, so if you get anything along the way, let us know. What else do we have going on? Your camera, we already talked about that. We are going to test the theory with your infrared gun when we get to the front. At times, the peak in the front, that's just like this in the back, is covered in stone, and then 5 feet down is the same type of stone inlaid into the brick. At times, there's a 30-degree difference in temperature.
Wow.
It should be 7 to 15 based on rain, wind, we got the water blowing, but up to 30, it's usually a little bit more than just the wind blowing. Also, because it is raining, where does everybody need to go after this? Catch a ride.
Candy store.
Candy store. When we get down there, we'll spend like 5 or 10 minutes there based on what comes up on the spirit boxes. I don't want anybody else getting sick or cold, or we're already wet, but
We're good.
We'll see what happens when we get up there, and we'll test our theory with you when we get to the top.
Did he hang himself with the normal rope?
Yes, to my knowledge. But it's that stupid chair that if I don't include it in the story, I get the word chair every time.
What?
This one.
Yeah, watch out for that.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
What was it? What was that? An art gallery?
It's a really neat painting.
Oh.
I like the doors.
Oh yeah. Like a hobbit door.
This is where we used to do the events all the time. Down there.
Oh
Where we'd start.
in the park.
Yep.
Oh yeah, this used to be
Don't get hit by a car.
South End Brewery.
Camera.
Yeah, South End Brewery.
South End Brewery.
That window on the corner and these two over here. So nice slow sweep. Let's take your. But she was talking to me. I normally listen to my spirit box along the way, and that's why I can tell who's actually hanging out with us. See if they've heard anything. And we'll wrap up your party here. And is this what you guys thought?
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, it's a lot different.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we did another one. I think we did
Yeah, most of it.
the other cool lanterns. I think you must have like lantern shopping. I like that perfect street. So many water delivery.
Or he's had that thing for years.
Oh, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
Yeah, there's a handful of tour guides that are kind of like they're on the History Channel, like they're diehard historians. And like I told you guys at the beginning, I don't have a license. I'm you that doesn't have a license. This is like a 500-page book that these guys study. I study it too, but I never went to take the test because you don't need the license anymore. So again, especially like I need to know more about your devices than I do the history, if that makes more sense. So, but I want to catch up with them on their spirit box, and then we'll start collecting the devices and get you guys in the right direction. So, if you guys enough minutes, you guys can take a moment. Like I was telling them,
Test to get a license, and then they're like, "Oh, you don't need a license."
I'm not seeing anything.
Huh?
I'm not seeing anything different. Well, I mean, it's...
My temperature thing didn't do anything where he was saying.
Huh?
My gun didn't do anything where he was saying.
Yeah, I wonder if it's the rain kind of messing it up.
Probably.
That's what he said the rain song was.
but it's never
Yeah.
together. Again, I know it's just single, preliminary, but I've had a loan. All right, can you get us some photos? All right. So I'm going to start collecting devices. We're going to let the spirit boxes run for another minute, along with the thermal imaging camera, because that's recordable stuff.
He looks excited about something.
Although they're asking like, so what happened? Bad hand. I'm like, I'm sorry that happened.
And they're using the recordable device, so I'll shoot
And then
you
I
the
heard
verify.
end it all.
Told you, guy was depressed. I will text you guys in the morning. Everybody that booked anyway. And if you got a text from me this morning, did everybody get a text? Each group?
Yeah, I did.
I think there's somebody right next to us that did not.
I got email. Hey, you haven't ever do that. I didn't get a text. I got an email.
Okay. So I might have to text you with my regular number. I use a Google Voice number for business. Okay. So worst case scenario, she has to put on. I don't. If she feels nice. All right. Let me grab your camera from you, boss.
Yep.
Did you have to
Oh, no.
all one video?
Yep.